Hello, everybody. Welcome into Daytona International Speedway, the world's center of racing, for some Tuesday night thunder in the RMR Money Racing Series. Drivers finishing up practice now, taking a look at teammates John Ward and Eddie Hawks, the 45, the 92. A little bit of a smaller crowd here tonight, but it is a Tuesday. Decent field either way, though. Anytime you got over 10 drivers, I think you're already guaranteeing yourself a chance at a good race. And we have between 10 and 15 from what I'm seeing so far. We'll let you know if that switches up. Let's see if we can maybe change the tower graphic here, see which one we like better tonight. I think we'll stick with the style for tonight. Just keep things a little bit more organized looking. Qualifying is now going to get underway. Single car qualifying, of course. We'll see who decides to take the track first, if anybody, because it is a pretty long race. You don't need to start in front for this one like you do on some of these other ones. It is going to be a 60-lap event tonight. We'll talk more about it once we get into your race info, but there is going to be a stage break. From what I know, at least, unless something changed, there will be money on the line for the winner at the stage break. So getting yourself on the pole right here, you're going to give yourself a good chance. Potentially snagging some extra money, and if you can come home first, maybe doubling your money. Eddie Hawks now going to hop on track in the 45 machine. Driver out of Sanford, Florida. McCall Motorsports. And they have just about every driver except a couple, myself being one of them, in the field tonight. So they're looking to have a really strong showing. Good to see Eddie back out here. The last time I saw Eddie was in the FEGPC Daytona 500 race. See what kind of lap time Eddie can put down. He's going to ride this top line all of lap 1. Lap 2, you'll see him drop down low. Try to hug the yellow. Actually going to do it now, and this is a different strategy, but I have seen people try this before. Not sure if it'll work for him. Basic idea, though, of what you just saw right there is you got to remember how steep the banking is here at tracks like Daytona and Talladega. So if you actually just slightly drive down it out of the turns, you can sometimes build up a little bit more speed. It does look like Eddie going to save it for his second lap. Don't know if I like that decision. Usually in these Xfinity cars and trucks, you got to go for it on your first lap. But we'll see what 45 Eddie Hawks can do while he's still getting warmed up. Let's take a look. Team PGR driver, he's making his way out on track. Brandon Broadfoot. How about Ron Morris Jr., the man putting this event on tonight? We'll see what he can do. But Eddie Hawks going to be making his way out of turn 4 to put down his lap this next time by. He'll wait till he gets about halfway through the travel. Then I think we'll see him drop down to the bottom. I think we'll have a smaller audience here tonight as well. Any of you guys that are out there watching, we appreciate you. I'm sure a couple of you might be in the race tonight. It is Valentine's Day, so we are wishing everybody out there from Ghost Racing Network a happy Valentine's Day. And that is why we may not have such a big field tonight. A lot of people spending time with their loved ones, and we can certainly respect that. I am also a little bit under the weather, so if I sound a little stuffy, I do apologize. I'm excited, though, either way. We got about 2 minutes, 20 seconds left here in qualifying, then we are going to get underway. Tuesday Night Thunder Week 2. This one isn't going to count towards points. Ron was letting the drivers know about this earlier. This race just going to be for fun. Well, not completely for fun because money is on the line, as it always is in these money races. The drivers all going to be going for it. Eddie Hawks into the trial, but you see him dive below the apron. Let's see what he can put down. Currently sitting 5th. It looks like, wow, strategy for the 45 works out nicely. Eddie Hawks tops the board with a 50.16, actually tied Mike Davenport's lap. That's a Team PGR driver. But he just beat him out, came down to the thousandths. Take a look now at Curtis Rogers in the 65. Citrus Springs, Florida, hometown. Team PGR, one of those new teams that we have just kind of seen make their way onto the money racing scene recently, being led by the owner and founder of PGR Racing, Michael Trescaro. He is also on track right now. We'll see what kind of laps those guys can put down, but it looks like they are fielding all. They have at least 3. I'm not sure if. Yep. All 4 Team PGR cars are going to be out here. So this race is going to come down to a battle, at least in terms of teams, between McCall Motorsports and Team PGR. We'll see who can take it home. But how about Ron Morris Jr. taking 3rd on the board? He's going to pull it off. Michael Trescaro, just talked about, owner of Team PGR. Here he is with about 45 seconds left in qualifying, seeing if he can make up any more positions on the board. Usually that first lap that you go for it is the faster lap. Those tires don't really affect handling too much here. However, when it comes to qualifying, after you've used your tires one lap, they just don't run quite as fast the second. And it looks like, sure enough, not going to top his last lap, so he is going to go 5th. 20 seconds left here in qualifying. If you're just tuning in, I know it's a little bit of a smaller field, but I certainly appreciate each and every one of you that are coming out to watch these guys go at it tonight. I know the drivers appreciate it. And we are getting ready to bring the fireworks to life here at Daytona. It is Speed Week in real life, so you better believe it's going to be a pretty exciting week here for the money racing side, sim racing side in general. And white flag is out to wrap up qualifying, so we are getting ready to set the grid for the race tonight. Take you down to pit road where we have not had anybody line up just yet. Still waiting on a couple. Once we get these drivers lined up, we can start getting, I guess while they line up, let's go ahead and get into your race info. We are at Daytona International Speedway for some RMR Tuesday Night Thunder money racing. Big 2.5 mile super speedway, over 30 degrees of banking in the corners, triable on the front. Bump drafting, going to be the name of the game. We are in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 60 lap event tonight, 100% fuel. Unlimited tires, one fast repair. Fixed setups, of course, as always. And there is going to be a stage break on lap 20. So these guys should potentially be good to go on fuel after that stage break. Of course, we'll have to find out as we get into it. Let's see if we've had anybody grid up just yet. Sure enough, you see the field there on pit road getting ready to go, leading them to green. Let's get into your starting grid. First place taking the pole tonight is going to be Eddie Hawks for McCall Motorsports in the 45 machine. Starting second on his outside is going to be Team PGR driver Mike Davenport. In third, Ron Morris Jr., the owner of RMR, another McCall Motorsports driver. And rounding out row 2, how about Ambrose Knievel in the 04, setting a fast lap tonight. Fifth is going to be Michael Triscaro, Team PGR owner, 6th place to his outside. His teammate Brandon Broadfoot, 7th, Danny Eshelman. And rounding out row 4 is going to be Curtis Rogers in the 65. 9th is going to be Sean Hill, and 10th, his teammate John Ward. 11th is going to be Ken McCall Jr. to his outside, another McCall Motorsports driver. That is David Sheets. And rounding out the field tonight for a 13-car field, the driver out of New York, and another McCall Motorsports driver. It's Mark Von Dell in the 59. Get the grid off the screen. Let's get the tower up. Get ready to rumble here at Daytona. Let's give a little bit more credit to your pole sitter, Eddie Hawks. Eddie, really one of the veteran drivers, knows how to get it done. Usually not the top qualifier, though. Not to discredit anything from Eddie, but just a lot of times we haven't really seen Eddie getting up here, getting himself first on the board, but sure does tonight. And he's ready to go. Looks like everybody did make their way on track. We are not going to have anyone miss the start. Last car, as you saw on the grid, is going to be Mark Von Dell just in front of him. His teammate, David Sheets. That beautiful looking Transmetic paint scheme. David's always had one of my favorite paint schemes out here in front of him, John Ward. And we saw a couple of these guys in the Podium 500 a couple days ago. Sunday that wrapped up. Let's show them a little bit of respect. First one that we were going to talk about that was in that, Mr. John Ward back here in the 92. Came home 15th or 16th, I do believe. Good finish, though. Just to get that far is an accomplishment in itself. Ken McCall Jr., another driver. So that's 2 McCall Motorsports drivers that did indeed make the Podium 500. Ken, unfortunately, with internet issues, didn't get to race it. He was pretty upset about it. So let me tell you, that man is ready to go tonight. He wants to win himself some money. He's going to have 60 laps that he's going to have to get through first if he wants to do it. Pace car pulls off. Eddie Hawks has the field in tow. Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. We're racing at Daytona. Everybody working their way through the gears as we dive into turn 1. That outside, though, Ambrose Knievel has already found the back bumper of Mike Davenport, and they are linking up to make progress here down the back. That outside usually gets the biggest momentum on that first lap down the backstretch. Sure enough, the 55, Mike Davenport gets clear. We'll see if he decides to drop low, sticks high for the moment. Now he's going to follow down with Ambrose Knievel, who gave him that push out. And Eddie Hawks wondering what just happened. Ron Morris Jr. has now lined up behind his teammate And we'll see if they decide to make another run to the outside. 20 laps, not that long to go. It's going to be a sprint to it. Guys are not going to have to pit, so if you are in the back, you got to get to the front now. If these guys get 3 wide, there's going to be nowhere to go, and no 3 wide rule here tonight. So whenever they please, they can do it. Xfinity cars, a lot more stable in terms of handling, especially on old tires, than the next gens. And here we go. We're going to see a move now from Michael Triscaro. He jumps at the top in that 34 PGR/Ghost Racing Network machine. The 6, Danny Eshelman, also going to make a move now to the top. Ron Morris Jr. maybe thought about blocking, not going to have enough time if he wanted to. 6 car up top. That top really not working right now. A little surprised, but just haven't seen a lot of pushing. Further back, you see Sean Hill and his teammate John Ward on the top lane. Last 2 cars in it. But laps 1 and 2, and now 3 are all going to be led by the driver, the 55, Mike Davenport. Now we see McCall Motorsports driver Ken McCall Jr. He's going to jump up to the top lane, try to get all the way up to the front. He's going to have a little bit of help from Danny Eshelman. Danny, one of the veterans, another driver. Made it to the duels in the Podium 500, so you better know he knows how to push. You see it right here. He's going to stick it right to the back bumper. The 03 down the backstretch gets just a slight bit offset. And you see us moving that 3 around now. Eddie Hawks, that's Ken McCall Jr.'s teammate, jumps in front of him. Oh, we had a lot of backfire out of the pipes of the 03. He had to really get out of it to not turn his teammate in the 45. Mike Davenport jumped high to try to block the move from Eddie Hawks. That's going to open it up to Ambrose Kniebel on the bottom line. For the back, you see Curtis Rogers in the 65. Looks like he got a new paint scheme since the last time we saw him. And all of a sudden now the outside has flipped the script, and they have found a way to get some momentum going. Mike Davenport ripping the top, and now he jumps back down to the bottom, opens it up to Eddie Hawks in the 45 on the top. Down the backstretch, 4 laps. These drivers, a lot of them say they really just prefer the Xfinity cars over any other series. There's just so many more things you can do in the Xfinity cars that you can't do in some of the others. The downside, though, they get hot in an absolute hurry, and they are very, very sensitive to any damage. If you get in the car with them, if you get in the wall rather with the next gen, you can be fine a lot of times. If you get in the wall with one of these Xfinity cars, you forget about it. You're gonna have damage. Ooh, Mike Davenport trying to control the lane, jumps back up top. Looks like Eddie Hawks is gonna cut him a break. 55 is gonna need to be a little careful here. Little early. I know he wants to control the lanes, but guys, usually not a fan of when drivers are trying to do that. Let's take a ride on board now, though. The 45 of Eddie Hawks, as he sees that 55 drop back down low, and he's probably saying, hey man, stay down there. I don't want you coming back up. You're scaring me. Big run though now, and the 55 is not going to have a chance to come up if he wants to. Ambrose Kniebel trying everything. Eddie Hawks is going to get a little side draft into turn 3. Eddie Hawks, got to be careful. You see how hard he's trying to side draft on the 04 of Ambrose Kniebel. If you can hold that guy on the inside, you get a big head of steam on the front and backstretch when you're running that outside. Problem right now for the 45 is the 03 is the only one that was really locked on. You're going to need help from that 3rd car. Don't want to push the pusher, but you do want to make sure those first 3 are nice and tight in line and working their way into turn 1. You see both 3rd row rather, Ron Morris Jr. and Brandon Broadfoot, they're just not really lined up right now. Whoever's going to get closer is going to win the battle, but the veteran pusher, the 03, Ken McCall Jr., trying to outpush the fan favorite of Ambrose Kniebel. Let's take a look farther back. John Ward currently sitting last. That's McCall Motorsports driver. In front of him is one teammate, Mark Mondell. Right in front of them, another McCall Motorsports teammate. That's David Sheets. It's going to be Michael Triscaro and Sean Hill. Be your first driver inside the top 10. I think some of these guys back here just playing it safe. We see it right here. The draft goes for a pretty long ways in these Xfinity cars, so you don't really have to stay right up to the back of the entire pack in order to keep it like you do in the next gen. So you can sit back here, just kind of ride around like we see John Ward doing. And I think we'll see that 92 maybe get a little racier as we get closer to lap 20. These guys do have a faster pair. Oh, the 03 trying to follow his teammate down, almost gets into the door. The 55 and the 04. The 24, Brandon Broadfoot, thought about dropping low, realized he wasn't clear, thinks twice about it. Ron Morris Jr. is going to fill that gap. No hesitation. Up top, the 03 maybe starting to get a little hot. Ambrose Kniebel, though. Ambrose looking strong so far here tonight. That outside not been able to get a push. The driver of the 04 is due for a win. We saw him almost get one. I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was in a PGR race or did, but we were broadcasting it. And Ambrose Knievel was so close. He brought home a close second. He is due for a win. Driver out of Gold Bar, Washington. Alive and Running Suicide Awareness and Prevention is his sponsor. He is going to be sponsoring Ron Morris Jr.'s prelude to the 500. You need to make sure you go get yourself signed up for it, or at least go tune into it. It will not be broadcasted here on Ghost Racing. Oh, hold that thought further back. Oh, there was a lot of wiggling. Everybody kept it together, though. And that got really scary real quick for the 24. Brandon Broadfoot. That car became a handful all of a sudden. And this is going to break up both lanes for a minute. Looks like everybody settles it out. So going back to what we were just going to say, Ron Morris Jr., I believe it's this Saturday, 3 wide now up top with Ken McCall Jr. The 03 going to try to get around the 55 here. He's going to have help from not one, but 2 of his teammates. And we'll see if Michael Triscaro, who you saw further back in that Team PGR car, maybe thinks about going up to the middle. But now Sean Hill fills the gap. His teammates may be wondering why he didn't choose to go up top with them. And I'll tell you what, McCall Motorsports can get all the way. Oh, contact with the 12. He thought he was clear. With the 55, he wasn't. The 65, Curtis Rogers holds on. What a save. Boy, I know that had to give the 65 a scare for a quick moment. These guys are getting a little dicey here early. Got to be careful. Only 10 laps through this thing, not even halfway through yet. Not even a quarter of the way through. You don't want to get into trouble here early. Let's try now to finish that thought we were talking about. Ron Morris Jr. does have his prelude to the 500. I do believe it's this Saturday. I could be wrong, but it is this Saturday. You talk about a lot of money on the line. That is the definition of that race. Butt Kickers came on board. 811 Dig. Call before you dig. These guys, a lot of sponsors for that race. It's going to be big payouts, a lot of prizes. NASCAR Next Gens, you don't want to miss out. Before we get there, the 03 trying to shoot the gap in the middle. Mike Davenport thought about maybe throwing the block, couldn't do it. And now the new leader in that middle line is going to be the 03 Ken McCall Jr. Eddie Hawks still leaving the outside. And we are about to have McCall Motorsports 1-2 here on the top. And you can see here Ron Morris Jr. going to try to give his teammate a big shot. But Ambrose Knievel's still been holding really strong, keeping the 45 out front from that second row on the inside. And I know we are only 11 laps in, but once we have a stage break, things might start to get wild. So let's do a Tuesday Night Thunder. Crank it up. Here we go. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. Up front now is the 03 of Ken McCall Jr. jumped down in front of his teammate Eddie Hawks. And that opens the top up to Ron Morris Jr. and his teammate Sean Hill. So right now it's McCall Motorsports 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by Ambrose Knievel and Danny Eshelman. And then it's going to be David Sheets. Yeah, David Sheets. And I can't tell if it's Michael. Nope, it's going to be Mike Davenport. They do have matching paint schemes. We saw him during that Crank It Up segment try to take it 3 wide. Nobody was going with him, though. And they quickly and wisely backed right on out of it. They realized they weren't going to go anywhere. No point in staying if you're not going to make any progress. Ambrose Knievel's now moved to the third car on that inside, and we're about 5 laps away from the stage break. Action maybe going to get ready to pick up right now. Ken McCall Jr. is in the catbird seat, but we'll see if he can hold on to it. Taking a look from the spotter view as these guys hustle their way down the Daytona Super Stretch. You know, I don't know if they call it the Super Stretch anymore, and I kind of miss that name. Ken McCall Jr., though, off turn 4 in charge. Just outside, starting to fade a little bit. Ambrose Knievel, though, he wants to go for some money. He jumps to that top lane. Gets a little bit of a side draft off the 45. He's waiting for a push from Ron Morris Jr., and he's going to get it down the short chute into turn 1. Eddie Hawk's going to have to do a lot of work. Oh, Sean Hill really trying to be aggressive with his teammate. Finally has to back off, realized it wasn't working, and this is going to open the outside up to David Sheets if he wants it. The 06 staying tucked in line right now. We'll see how long that lasts. Take a look inside the cockpit there of Ken McCall Jr. Watch his hands into the turn here. Look how slight the movement is. Up top, though, the 06, you saw it. David Sheets jumped right in front of the 04, Ambrose Knievel, and these top two are linked up, but they don't have any help. David Sheets about to get a big run. We are coming to lap 16, 4 to go before the stage break. Oh, Ambrose Knievel makes contact. Oh, further back, they're going to lose it. They can't hold on. Ron Morris Jr. into the catch fence. Huge crash for the 76. No caution yet somehow. Oh, my goodness. That car is absolutely destroyed. Somehow still rolling. And I am flabbergasted that there is no caution. I'm not sure if it's iRacing only. There's no way. Let's go back and take a look. Duck Duck has arrived. How are you doing, Duck Duck? This was one of the hardest crashes I've ever seen in iRacing that did not draw a caution. Let's watch. Actually, let's back this up a little bit here so we can actually pay attention to what all started this little mess. Looked like Ambrose Knievel did come down and get into the door of somebody, and all of a sudden, chaos ensued. We're going to play it slow for you here. Watch the 76 and the 04, second and third car in that outside line. And it looks like the 04 diving down the track. Not sure. Yep, Ambrose going to dive down the track. He may have gotten a shot. Not sure either way. Makes contact. Does a well of a job saving it, though. Maybe just taps the outside wall. Ron Morris Jr. trying to check up for it. His teammate trying to get around. They make contact. And watch this, ladies and gentlemen. 76 gets pinned. Thrown right up into the catch fence. Almost gets into the grandstands. But look at this car. Just getting flipped around like an absolute ragdoll. No caution yet. Still no caution. Look at him go. And it never drew the caution from iRacing. Still amazes me at this point. You see him on pit road now. Let's go back up front. We have a little 3-car breakaway right now with McCall Motorsports. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr., Eddie Hawks, and David Sheets. Further back, Curtis Rogers trying to get a run with his teammate Brandon Broadfoot. We see the other two Team PGR drivers trying to get something going up top. Lap 20 is going to be the stage break, though. So these guys here are going to try to hold them off for a little bit longer if they can. Ken McCall Jr., the famous quote of hell yeah. If you ever get to chat with him, I promise you'll hear him say it at least once. If you don't see the driver of the 03 out in any of these money races, you better know that he's got a problem. Ken told us he is in every race unless there's something physically preventing him from being in one. Now we're going to see John Ward jump to the top. This might very well be the last lap before the stage break. Not sure if it's going to be on lap 20 or the end of 20. I think it's going to be on the start of lap 20 in the 92. Going to try to steal it from his teammate in the 03. The 24, Brandon Broadfoot's got a little bit of a run, but no help behind them. They are going to need a third car to get something going. Will Eddie Hawks think about making a move? David Sheets now going to jump back to the top. Pulls a little bit of draft off Sean Hill here, who is going to be a lap car. We'll see if he can hold on to his lap. And he is wisely not going to try to jump down in front of his teammate. Looks like that little bit of draft isn't going to be enough. Off turn 4 now. Eddie Hawks jumps to the top line. Oh, he turns his teammate, the 03, into the wall. Big crash coming to the line. Caution is out. The 92 is in it. They are still wrecking across the grass. The 24, Brandon Broadfoot. Oh, no. Something went really wrong with some teammates here. You see it. Eddie Hawks is destroyed. They are still wrecking up there. Sean Hill gets into it with his teammate, John Ward. Curtis Rogers gets rolling. And there's the torn up 03 of Ken McCall Jr. This was coming to that stage break for the caution, the stage break, and it was also going to give away some money, but I don't know what's so wrong. We were just in between the camera angles. Let's see if this is going to be maybe a late block from the 03. So this is going to start here with Eddie Hawks and Ken McCall Jr. Let's look at it from, actually I think I like this camera here. Let's watching it here, the 45 trying to squeeze back in line. Yikes. I think that might have been some net code, but either way, turns his teammate around the 03, takes a big shot into the wall. David Sheets going to get a little bit of contact. 45, just nowhere to go. John Ward's going to get turned around here. We see a bunch of these other guys sliding through the grass, just trying everything to avoid it. And that is going to be a fast repair for a couple of these guys, including the 03 most likely, definitely the 45, and definitely the 92. Let's take one more look at this, because I'll tell you what, it did look like potentially some net code. Eddie Hawks maybe was either trying to squeak back in line or get a side draft on his team. We'll take a couple more of angles here. Here's going to be angle one. Watch that 45 on the top. Sean Hill on the wall further back. Not where this starts, though. Oh, and it looks like from that view, he actually does just get into his teammate. Nothing intentional, of course. We know Eddie wouldn't be trying to do that. I think the first thing may have been he was thinking about trying to hop back in line. Maybe misjudged it, or he's trying to get a side draft on his teammate. And sometimes these cars swing around a little bit more. They don't react quite as quick as the trucks. And once he got left, maybe got a little too far left before he tried to get back right. Let's speed this up because Sean Hill is actually going to get in it here with his teammate. Looks like they're driving around it here okay. Then further up, John Ward still on the track, starting to creep up. Oh, and you see just, yikes, starts to come up the track a little early. Got to hold the brakes a little longer in that instance. We'll take one more view at it here from the cockpit of Eddie Hawks. I want to see if maybe this will give us a little bit more insight to what he was trying to do. Let's ride on board here with Eddie. This is Ken McCall Jr. Let's go to Eddie. Here we go. Let's take a listen. Tough break either way. Let's go back live, though, and talk about your top five. Currently now sitting in the catbird seat in first is going to be Mr. Danny Eshelman in the sixth. Looks like he is going to get the stage win, I do believe. Second is going to be Mike Davenport. Third, Michael Triscaro. Fourth is going to be Mark Vondell. Good run here for Mark, the driver of the 59. We'll see if Mark Vondell can get it done for McCall Motorsports tonight. Rounding out the top five currently is going to be John Ward. Eddie Hawks looks like he was able to get his car repaired. David Sheets suffered a little bit of damage. May not have had to use his fast repair, though, yet. That could be important coming down to the end of this race. Ron Morris Jr., Ambrose Kniebel, Ken McCall Jr. has not chosen to use his fast repair yet. Little shocks. The front of this thing looks pretty banged up. But if he doesn't have engine damage and it still feels up to speed, better to save that fast repair because you know you'll probably need it at the end. Brandon Broadfoot, he's also still got some damage on the front end. Curtis Rogers as well. A lot of drivers with damage here still on the front. Sean Hill also with some damage to the front of that car. And it looks like so far he has not gotten his lap back. Would have been the lucky dog when he got that slight contact with his teammate John Ward. Actually, it was pretty heavy contact, so I guess I shouldn't underdo it. If you get any sort of contact, even if it doesn't count as an actual X, iRacing will not give you the lucky dog. Pace car lights are off. That means we are going to go green this time. I do worry, though, with this smaller field. Some of those guys, such as Ken McCall Jr., if they're not able to keep up, choosing not to use their fast repair this early, we may not see another caution. But looks like the 03 wisely went back down pit road, decided to use that fast repair. And I think I really like that decision. But now he's going to have to hustle to try to catch the field before they take the green flag. I'll tell you who is looking good, though. Team PGR, they got two of their drivers. Michael Triscaro maybe going to be looking to get into that top lane. Danny Elsherman doesn't have a team, at least one I know of here tonight. That's not going to matter because he knows how to get it done at some of these super speedways. Danny Eshelman, another driver due for a win. Just a matter of time at this point. And it is going to be a 37-lap race to decide it here. Xfinity cars, that will be really close on fuel. We'll see if anybody decides to save or not. Green flag back in the air. 37 laps to go at Daytona. Danny Elsherman got a pretty good shot. Mike Davenport just no help right now. We'll see if his teammate in the 34 decides to jump out and help him. Michael Triscaro sticking to the bottom right now. That's going to help the 6 of Danny Eshelman. But up top, David Sheets is now lined up with his teammate Mark Vondell. They're going to give a huge push to the 55 of Mike Davenport down the back. Danny Eshelman out front. Ooh, looks like we had contact with the wall. I couldn't tell if that was the 59 or the 04. No issues, though. And you see Sean Hill up here racing. We'll see if he decides to maybe get his lap back the hard way or if he wants to just sit back and ride. And it's a tough call right now because even if he were to get his lap back, there's no way he'd be able to catch the field again. He would just have to sit in the lead and hope for a caution. Curtis Rogers, some damage to the front and back. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. The 03 got back up here. Looks like we are going to have a pit stop right here from Ron Morris Jr. A little bit surprised. Remember, he did have to use the fast repair in that wreck where he flipped into the catch fence. Not sure if he got a penalty here or if he's going down to fixed damage. Not sure either way what he's doing here, but John Ward, another driver we saw destroying that last track, he's back up here. But the field looking like they're going to maybe single file out a little bit right now as fuel maybe going to become an issue. Maybe some of these guys just wanting to tick off some laps. Probably a lot of them didn't think they'd have to use their fast repair as early as they did. And if you use that fast repair, you are not going to be racing till the end. And if you don't believe me, look no farther. And Ken McCall Jr. in the 92 still sitting back, but it looks like they're thinking about making a run to the front. Ambrose Knievel going to try to push Mike Davenport to the lead. They might need a third car, and I think if Michael Triscaro gets clear, he might be that third car to do it. In the 34, not able to get clear, though, yet into turn one. Mark Vondell, David Sheets, two McCall Motorsports drivers. They're sitting pretty right now. On the bottom, it is going to be a top 4 payout, what I read tonight. But that was because somebody did get some money from the stage break. And remember, we did start with a 13-car field. You see it there. Ron Morris Jr. currently sitting in the pits. So unfortunate break for the driver, the 76. We have Sean Hill currently the only car a lap down by himself. Going to need a caution or he's going to be in danger of going 2 down before this thing is all said and done. That outside still just the 2-car tandem of Mike Davenport and Ambrose Knievel. To bottom, Danny Eshelman, Michael Triscaro, Mark Vondell, and David Sheets. But John Ward, Ken McCall Jr. further back have all dropped in line. So that is going to make McCall Motorsports 5 teammates in a row there. Don't forget about Eddie Hawks and Curtis Rogers sitting at the back of this group. So we do have a couple guys that are not on this pack. Not only Sean Hill, as it looks like Ron Morris Jr. has made his way back out on the track, currently sitting a lap down, maybe 2. Sean Hill here getting lapped by the 24, Brandon Broadfoot, who is currently running by himself. And as we said, Curtis Rogers rounding out that pack. And if we pull up the track map here for you, you can see it. The field pretty split up. Sean Hill, Brandon Broadfoot, maybe going to be able to link up, though. But we are seeing the bottom really start to form, and I kind of like this. Haven't seen this in a while. But these guys showing a lot of patience right now. You see him coming up on the lap car there, Ron Morris Jr. Not what he wants to see, but sure as heck what Sean Hill wants to see. As that's going to be one less car he will have to worry about battling for the Lucky Dog spot if a caution were to come out. 55, Mike Davenport just trying to find somewhere to drop in line right now. And if this is coming down to fuel saving, you do not want to be on that outside running by yourself. Not only are you not making any progress, but you are burning a lot more fuel than anybody else that is in the draft. The 04 Ambrose Knievel, you see he's got some damage on the front, maybe affecting him just a little bit. Didn't seem like it was on the outside. But there's a decent gap right now between that second and third place car as they go by the lapper of Ron Morris Jr. in the 76. Not the night Ron wanted to have. Started out strong. A little surprised that there was still no caution. I think some of these drivers maybe wishing there would have been when that incident happened where he went up into the catch fence, barrel rolled down the short chute into turn 1. And I know it's a small field tonight, and we didn't think we'd see anything crazy, but let me tell you, that may very well have been the wildest wreck I have ever seen in iRacing that did not draw a caution. And Mike Davenport not giving up on this outside, continues to try it. Row up his teammate, Michael Triscaro, showing a little bit more patience. Seems to like where he's sitting right now, behind the 6 of Danny Eshelman. But we are 2 laps from halfway through this event. John Ward, Ken McCall Jr., Eddie Hawks, all 3 involved in that first wreck. Gotta think there's no bad blood between these 3. I've been in the McCall Motorsport chat. One of those things where if something happens, even if it's a teammate, you know it's an accident. It can really upset you for just a second. But at the end of the day, you're all teammates. You all have the same goal. And they'll get over it. They'll be ready to go. And if you notice there, it starts with the 59, and then it's the 06, 92, 03, 45. And sooner or later, the 76 also going to be dropped in line. And that would make 6 McCall Motorsports drivers, 7 plus Sean Hill, but not currently in the pack. So 7 McCall Motorsports drivers in the field tonight. 6 of them all in this lead pack. So I'm telling you, they are feeling good about when it's time to go. Speaking of time to go, Michael Triscaro thought about making a move to the outside. I think he sees further back that 76. Ron Morris Jr. going to try to fight for his lap back. To do that, he's going to try to push the 55. Mike Davenport into turn 1. That bottom line starting to slowly wash up. Got to be careful. You want to keep those things tucked down to the bottom. And we can hear a couple more cars. If we pull out your track map up, you can see that's going to be the 12 of Sean Hill. Sean really not up to speed as well as he'd like to be. Let's take a listen. I'm not sure what's going on. Ooh, and you can hear it there. That car significantly down on power. Look at his RPMs. Just under 7,000. If we go to a car such as Mike Davenport is there, going to be flying by. Oh, got to be careful with that maneuver. Contact. It looks like, oh, no, they're not going to be able to keep it together. The 76. Ron Morris Jr. is going to lose it. Everybody diving to avoid him. It looks like they do. What a save by a lot of these guys. We're going to have to go take a look at what just happened there. Sean Hill maybe trying to get out of the way. We saw an aggressive move. I couldn't tell who initially it was from, but you saw the difference in RPMs. Almost 1,000 RPM difference between the 12 and the rest of the pack. But we are going to have a little breakaway here for a moment. I think these guys will be okay. They should all be able to catch back up. Curtis Rogers, though, unfortunately going to lose the draft. Brandon Broadfoot's still out of it. Sean Hill and Ron Morris Jr. did suffer a little bit more damage on the right side. He is back in the pits, and it is safe to say the 76's night is done. But let's go back and see just exactly what happened. First, let's go to Sean Hill here and see what he was doing. I'm not really sure exactly what went so wrong here all of a sudden. It just kind of happened out of nowhere. You see the speed difference here. It started with, look at this from the spotter view. I think it's going to give us a little better insight. Sure enough, here we go. You'll see the field coming up on the 12 in a hurry here. Into turn 3, there's Ken McCall Jr., your leader, Eddie Hawks. They made a run to the front. Didn't even notice that. David Sheets in the middle. Off of turn 4, Sean Hill's going to contact the wall. Oh, this is the older. Man, I hate when it does this. I apologize. That is the older wreck. Didn't mean to show you guys that one. I was kind of wondering. I was like, I don't remember seeing these guys make that move. Here we go. Let's go to the actual one here because you see Sean Hill on the bottom. The 6, Danny Elshman, thought about it. Then he went back up top. 55 tries to drop low. A couple guys slide up the track. Ron Morris Jr. hits the outside wall. Back down the track. Tags his teammate. That was the 59, Mark Von Dell. But everyone's scattering. How about Ken McCall Jr. doing a little bit? Dale Earnhardt passing the grass, except he didn't pass anybody. But a good save from the 03. And a lot of these drivers. Let's go back live, though, now and see how this really messed up the pack. Up front, everybody pretty much grouped back together. Mike Davenport still trying to get it going on the outside. No one else following yet. And I think with that 55, being able to hang as long as he is side by side with the rest of this pack, that maybe tells you that there's a little bit of fuel saving going on. Again, I'm not sure. I know these cars can get 35, maybe 37 laps of fuel. Just all depends on how much you're saving. If we have any cautions in between. But it is going to be 26 laps to go this time at Daytona. Danny Eshelman still leading the way. Michael Triscaro second. Mike Davenport third. Ambrose Kniebel fourth. And Mark Von Dell rounding out the top 5. After that, it's going to be 4 McCall Motorsports driver John Ward. 06 David Sheets, Ken McCall Jr., and Eddie Hawks. And we saw these two get into a little bit of an incident earlier. Ken McCall Jr. and Eddie Hawks. And just in case you missed it and you're wondering what we're talking about, we'll replay it here real quick for you. Out of turn 4, this is coming to the line. Eddie Hawks gets into his teammate, the 03. Big pileup. That was what caused our first caution of the night and brought us to the stage break. A little bit of miscommunication there for sure. And Mike Davenport really think he needs to drop in line. Let's actually ride on board, though, with him here. We might be able to find out some of these guys are potentially fuel saving. First, before we ride on board with Mike Davenport, listen to Ken McCall Jr. here. And you hear it here. Not full throttle at all. Take a listen to Mike Davenport. It looks like he has dropped back down in line, though. Now, sorry, that's not I meant to go to Mike Davenport. On the outside still, driver out of Colorado Springs. And you hear him. He is in the throttle the whole time, because if he gets out of it at all, he's going to fall back, trying to make some progress. His teammate, though, has still chosen not to help him. Michael Triscaro maybe also playing a little bit of the fuel-saving game. And I think right now I really like the position that 03 and some of the guys that are back there with him are in. Saving fuel, not a bad thing. If we have a caution, maybe going to overtime, you want to make sure you have enough fuel to stay out if possible. And we have about a 9-car pack still up front. After that, the rest of the field, there's pretty much scattered throughout the track right now. It's going to be Curtis Rogers, the next car back, the 65, which you see is pretty significant damage there to the back of that thing. He is needing a caution. Field will be going to lapping him sooner or later if he can't get one. Brandon Broadfoot, though, going to be lapped first. He is just now making his way into turn 1. You see the pack coming out of the tribal, getting ready to make their way into turn 1. Sean Hill looks like maybe retired from the race. Ron Morris Jr. has also retired from the race. You see him sitting in pit road right there. Let's go back live up front. Mike Davenport now jumped back in line. If we're going to see a pit stop, this could be an indication of it. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if these guys were good on fuel or not. But if they all get single file, they're either getting ready for a pit stop or they're getting in line to save a lot of fuel. We are going to take a quick commercial break so I can go get a drink of water. We'll be right back. Stick with us. Back live at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Just over 20 laps to go here in Tuesday Night Thunder for RMR Money Racing. And you know who I want to give a shout out tonight? About this guy right here, Mark Vondell, call Motorsports driver. We've been talking about guys due for a win. Mark, one of them. Very, very talented driver. Just a lot of times catches bad breaks, but here he is riding with his teammates right now. And if he's good to go on fuel, he is going to have a shot at this thing. Has a whole pack of McCall Motorsports drivers behind him, and you better believe they want to go with him. Heard him in the chat the last couple races. They want Mark to get a win. And to get a win at these super speedways, the biggest thing you need is teammates. He's got a lot of them. Up front, though, it is still going to be Danny Eshelman second, Michael Triscaro third, Ambrose Kniebel fourth, Mike Davenport in fifth, Mark Vondell. We keep seeing the 55, Mike Davenport, trying everything to get someone to go with him and jumping out of line, but no one's chosen to yet. Danny Eshelman leading the way. Gotta think he would not be good to go on fuel at this rate. So I'm thinking the driver of the 6 is going to have to pit, but I'm not sure on that exactly. Fuel mileage in these Xfinity cars is a bit longer than the trucks, but also a bit shorter than the next gens, which actually go quite a bit on fuel, surprisingly. Ooh, the 34, Michael Triscaro, starting to get loose. First longer run of the night. Not necessarily a long run in general, but longer run, rather, of the night. And he is starting to feel it on those sets of Goodyears. He is ready to go in. Not sure if he'll take tires. I don't think you want to. With as few of laps as we would have left, if he decides to pit, you want to just take a splash of gas, just enough to get you the rest of the way, and then you want to get out of the pits. If you can come out with the lead, maybe a couple other guys break away, you can guarantee all of yourselves money, make it just a race between yourselves. We've seen that before. Tell you, that's the best feeling, too. If you come to that white flag, 4 payout positions, and there's a pack of 4 of you, and that's all it is, nothing better. You know you guys can get as much race and action in as you want. As long as you don't wreck each other, everybody is guaranteed money. Michael Triscaro is still ducking in and out of line, but John Ward going to be the first guy now to go give some help to Mike Davenport in the 55. And that's a good pusher to have behind you. Podium 500 contender. I think John Ward, I don't know if he decided he's good on gas or he's just ready to go, but either way, the 92 trying to get to the front here with 18 to go. I know we've had a pretty small audience tonight, not used to it. Ooh, the 34 is going to have to be really careful. Michael Triscaro keeps jumping out of line. Ambrose Knievel keeps cutting him a break, but I'm not sure how much longer he'll do it. What I was going to say is I know we've got a small audience tonight, but we appreciate anybody that came out to watch RMR Money Racing. A little bit different tonight with it being Valentine's Day. Not as many guys as I think we would very well usually see. But Tuesday Night Thunder, a pretty cool series here. Point system, going to be a championship race with big payouts. Getting very excited for it. But if you are out here and you like what you're seeing tonight, go ahead and give us a like. And if by chance one of the 5 of you that are in here tonight are new, make sure you go ahead and follow us here on Ghost Racing Network, trying to get to 500 as soon as possible. Danny Eshelman, since we went back green, has been pretty dominant. No one really had anything for him, or has had anything for him. That outside, the 92 of John Ward has been trying to get the 55 to the front. No luck yet. And finally, we're going to see the 34, Michael Triscaro, jump out of line. Not sure if he also decided he's going to go on fuel. But doing that, a little surprised here. The 92 of John Ward actually tucks back down low behind Mark Von Dell. I thought that would be their chance to get to the front. Fortunately, though, with that 92 going back in line, and we see Michael Triscaro really trying to side draft the 04. With only 2 cars, they're going to have to do everything they can. You see it there, 2 Team PGR cars. They're going to need a little bit of help, though, from somebody else. They don't have any other teammates up here right now. Actually, I take that back. Brandon Broadfoot, not on the lead lap, but he is one of the teammates, and he has got up here. If he can, don't be too surprised if we see that 24 jump out of line. But here comes John Ward, David Sheets. Ooh, Mark Von Dell had to gather it up. Not sure if he had an issue. But good save by the driver of the 59. Yeah, he must have had an issue. He has fallen back here all of a sudden. And hoping he can stay at least in this main pack. Riding on board with him. It's going to be really close. And I am not sure exactly what happened. We can actually back this up though a little bit. See if we can figure out what happened to Mark. Let's go all the way back to turn 3 where I'm not sure if he's going to get a bad bump or just gets a little loose. Here we go. Oh, you see it there. Kind of clips the apron. Wow, boy, he was sideways pretty much all the way middle of 3 to out of 4. So that is a heck of a save. But what we're going to say there is, yeah, when you get on that apron, it just kind of grabs you, wants to take the front wheels down while the back 2 are still up in the air. Not a very good recipe, but unfortunately, and I hate to see this, Mark Von Dell just outside of the draft. Right now it sits at 1.96 seconds. And falling. Oh, such a good night for the 59. It's going to end early unless he can get a caution. We'll have to see. But up front, things are starting to get a little bit more racy. The 92 has found his way to the lead of that outside line. And he gets a big push down the backstretch from Michael Triscaro. Is going to pull a nose out in front with 14 to go. And now Ambrose Knievel trying to link back up to the 6. John Ward couldn't quite get clear into turn 3. And further back in this pack, Ken McCall Jr., Eddie Hawks, Brandon Broadfoot, a lapper. So I think maybe just trying to stay out of the way. They are going to go by the lapper now of Curtis Rogers. And there's a very small chance of this 65. It's a blessing in disguise for the 59. If Mark Vondel can catch his draft and he can stay in the draft of this main pack, that would give 59 a chance. Unfortunately, though, I don't think it's going to happen. Take a look at your track map again. You see they're still spread out a little bit. Remember, Sean Hill and Ron Morse Jr. have retired for the night. Curtis Rogers currently sitting 2 laps down. So is Brandon Broadfoot, but he is actually only 1 lap down. Up front, Danny Eschelman jumps to the top, gets a big push from John Ward. We see Ambrose Kniebel trying to lead the bottom. David Sheets second on the bottom. And Mike Davenport, the original driver trying to get that top going, has now went back down to the bottom. He's got Ken McCall Jr., Eddie Hawks behind him. And those 2 lap cars further back, I think they may sit back until we get closer to the end of this thing. But they could certainly play a factor in who wins this race, especially if they decide to. And we are approaching 10 laps to go, and you can tell action's starting to pick up. Oh, we got one in the wall. Big contact further out back. They're not going to be able to save this one. The 34 slides. Caution out. And we're going to have a restart with 10 to go. Curtis Rogers in it. And unfortunately, he is not going to be able to get the lucky dog. But Brandon Broadfoot also in it, so he may also not get the lucky dog. Let's go see what happens here that brings out your second yellow of the night. First non-scheduled yellow of the night. The other one did come out with the stage break, of course. And this is, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to start. So what we'll do is we'll back this up a little bit. This did happen into turn 3, so let's go with the spotter view. Play it slow for you here. Ken McCall Jr. was not involved in it. I thought it was him. It was actually Danny Eschelman, so I do apologize. Yep, you see the 6 getting that outside wall. John Ward just gave him maybe a little bit of an offset push. The 92 gets back down into the 34, makes contact with David Sheets. Luckily, David Sheets able to keep from going back up to the wall. The 92, though, he gets back up into the wall off the net code with the 6. The 55, Mike Davenport, looks like he is able to maybe sneak through it. 34, though, Eddie Hawks, he does a nice job just getting through it. Curtis Rogers, unfortunately, in it. Brandon Broadfoot, he's got it locked up. And this is going to make things a little bit interesting. Not sure if that'll take anybody out. It didn't look like too much big damage for many drivers except maybe the 92 of John Ward. And we are going to go green with under 10 to go. Ambrose Kniebel, though, your current leader, the fan favorite. We'll see if he can get the win tonight. Second, David Sheets, driver out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. Maybe the only McCall Motorsports driver left without major damage. At least in the top 5, that is, because third is going to be Danny Eschelman. We'll see if he decides to pit. Fourth, Mike Davenport. And rounding out the top 5, John Ward right now. But you see he's going to have to go pit. And he'll hand it off to Ken McCall Jr., who did have to use a fast repair earlier. That car looking clean down. The 03 is going to stay out once the track position. So does David Sheets. That is going to put McCall Motorsports now 1-2 as we see just about everyone else decide to come down to pit. Some of them coming down to fix damage. Some of them coming to top off, or both. I think if you're on pit road right here, you might as well take some tires, take some fuel. Get yourself ready for this next restart because it is going to get crazy. 55, Mike Davenport, you saw right there. Damage pops out. He used his fast repair. I think Ambrose Kniebel may have as well. Yep, sure enough, the driver of the 04. He's going to be all out of quickies. It has been pretty eventful race. Saw those guys try to get calmed down right there. John Ward wasn't really doing anything over aggressive, but just gave maybe a little bit of an offset push to the 6, and that is all it can take sometimes at these super speedways. David Sheets has some pretty significant damage to the right rear. Don't think it will affect his overall speed at all. Usually with these cars, as long as you don't have any damage on the front, you're good to go. However, it might affect the ability of the guy pushing him, which right now is going to be Eddie Hawks, his teammate. Mark Vondel needed that caution after he had that wicked save where he got on the apron. He's going to be lining up 4th behind his teammate Ken McCall Jr. Brandon Broadfoot, though, unfortunately, not going to be able to get the lucky dog back. After unfortunately, he was involved in that last caution. Mike Davenport, he's going to be ready to go. Curtis Rogers just making his way out of pit road. Still sitting 2 laps down right now. And Sean Hill, Ron Morse Jr. out from an earlier incident. Let's see if John Ward, yep, still sitting on pit road. He did use his fast repair earlier. So this is not a good scenario for the 92. Yeah, that thing is all tore up. His night going to be over. Not sure if he'll even be able to return out on track. We'll have to see. Pace car lights going to go off, though, this time. It is going to be a 9-lap shootout to decide it in the Tuesday night Thunder Series here at RMR Money Racing. If you're just joining in, it's about to get exciting. We have not seen much 3 wide tonight, but I think we might be about to here. 8 laps is not a lot of laps to go if you are further back. And let me tell you, with McCall Motorsports making up row 1 and 2, these guys are going to have a lot of work behind them. I think we might see Danny Esterman and Ambrose Kniebel try to hook up further back. Those 2 Team PGR drivers, they're going to get help from the lap car, which is their other teammate of Brandon Broadfoot. See him in the Buffalo Wild Wings scheme. And I'll tell you what, Buffalo Wild Wings sounds pretty good right now. I could go for some wings. I'll tell you what, these drivers sounds good to them is some money, and that's what the top 4 are going to have a chance to earn. Right now, McCall Motorsports looking to sweep it. We'll see if they can do it. They have lost quite a few of the drivers this race. Started with a 7-car fielding for McCall Motorsports, but as you see, down to 4. Not a bad night, though, as they are the top 4. But Ambrose Kniebel, as strong as he's been tonight, it could be his night. I think he's going to go for it. At least hoping he does. Mark Vondel looks like he's got about the same damage as his teammate David Sheets. Difference is Mark going to be the pusher. Doesn't have any damage on the front. He's good to go. David going to be the leader. May affect the ability for Eddie Hawks to push him. We'll have to find out. Doesn't matter now, because if you're in the lead now, you better stay there. We will see who can get the better restart. It's going to be crucial. Don't think these guys are going to organize anything right now, as they both want to go for the big money. Pace car takes a hard left. David Sheets rolled into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. 8 laps to go at Daytona. Pretty dead even restart. Eddie Hawks, Mark Vondel both do a nice job getting to their teammate's bumper. And down the back is going to be where all the willpower comes from. Who can give the bigger push? That outside usually gets the momentum naturally. Eddie Hawks really going to have to push on his teammate if he wants to keep him out in front. Not going to be enough, though. The 03 gets clear for a second. Will he drop down? Mark Vondel still doing a good job pushing Ken McCall Jr. Not yet. The 03 staying up top, and we have seen this before. We'll see if they try it again. That bottom's got no help, and I think that's why Ken McCall Jr. choosing to stay up top right now. Very, very team play move right here from the 03. He knows if they can stay like they are now, it is going to be a hard task for anybody to pass. But Ambrose Kniebel, he's ready to go. Oh, tries to go to the top. Looks like he gets squeezed a little bit from Mike Davenport. Has to back out of it. I think Danny Esselman might have been thinking about going with him. And they're going to regroup, maybe try to get in the 55, looking high. Not sure if he's going to have many friends after that last move he did. 7 laps to go. David Sheets now has the advantage. McCall Motorsports trying to control both lines. Don't know if they'll try to control all 3 if we get that way. There's 2 lap cars, though. Brandon Broadfoot, Curtis Rogers. I thought maybe they'd get up here and try to get in the mix, but they're staying respectful. I think their teammates may be wishing they could get up there and get them some help, though, right now. Team PGR only has the 2 drivers right now, Mike Davenport and Michael Triscaro, in this main group. Will we see some blinking from Danny Esserman? Oh, Mark Vondel. Oh, that's Eddie Hawks. Big wreck. The 04 into the catch fence upside down. Yellow flag is back out. 55, Mike Davenport in the 04 of Ambrose Kniebel. That car is junk. No bumper, no hood, no front bumper. And Ambrose, his night looking like it is going to be done, as I don't believe he has a fast repair. Let's see what happened. I think Eddie Hawks was the first one to get out of shape here. You see him in the 59 have a little bit of a matching scheme. But let's see if we can figure out what initially caused this. Let's take a look from the pit road cam. Actually, here we go. I think we'll just do TV1. Let's see. Oh, no, it is going to be the 59, actually. Yep, Mark Vondel coming down the track. Either slight netcode or slight contact. Either way, contact with his teammate, the 45, Eddie Hawks. Tries to save it. Unfortunately, runs out of room. Slides up into the 04 of Ambrose. And it just lifts that car off the ground. Wow. We have not seen a wreck like that in these in a while. Ron Morris Jr.'s wreck was crazy, but this one was even wilder. You saw. Let's take one more look at this. Almost just like propelled the 04 up into the air, and he flew nose first into the catch fence. Watch this. Wow, big hit. Ambrose Kniebel, this had to be a wild ride. Let's actually go ride on board with Ambrose on this one. Tell you what, tonight, I know we don't have a lot of viewers, but they are missing out on some of the craziest wrecks. And I bet Ambrose was maybe wondering why all of a sudden he couldn't see the pavement anymore. Next thing he knows, that car is destroyed. Let's go back up front, though, now where your current leader is the man who was playing it safe. Had to use a fast repair, but he's looking good right now. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr. Second, his teammate David Sheets. Third, another teammate, Mark Von Dell, rounding out the top four. McCall Motorsports driver Eddie Hawks in fifth. Michael Triscaros, we see him going 3 wide here under the caution lap. This 45 car of Eddie Hawks, he's got some pretty significant damage. Important to note, you see it right here. Brandon Broadfoot was able to avoid that wreck, so he is going to get his lap back. And I think Ambrose Knievel might be done, and if he is, that would put Curtis Rogers as the next car to get a lap back if he can avoid any other wrecks. We are going to be going green here with 2 to go. Not overtime just yet, but 2 laps to go in the race. And at this point, starting to become a race of who has the cleanest car. We saw a big wreck early that took a lot of these guys in, made them use their fast repair. And that is paying dividends right now if you still have it, because we have seen a couple wrecks here towards the end. And I'm not sure if we're done just yet. You saw McCall Motorsports controlling both lanes. David Sheets going to repay that favor to his teammate, I got to believe. If he gets clear, he may think twice about going down. Maybe stay up top. See if they can get him McCall Motorsports 1, 2, 3, 4. Pace car should be turning his lights off this next time. Rough break, though, for some of these guys. Ron Morse Jr. out. Sean Hill, he's out of the race. Curtis Rogers, 2 laps down. Ambrose Knievel, he is about to be out of the race. John Ward, he is also done. Brandon Broadfoot just got the lucky dog, so he is going to have a chance to get back in this. And I'll tell you who's happy about that. Michael Triscaro and Mike Davenport, they have been looking for a third teammate to have any chance at putting it to. These McCall Motorsports boys up here 1, 2. Currently 3, 4 as well. Not sure if Eddie Hawks' damage is going to affect him. I think he'll still be an okay pusher. But if he has a chance of getting out in front, that car may not work so well. David Sheets, you saw during that run. Damage didn't seem to affect him. The guy pushing him was able to get it done. And we see John Ward. He's going to try to get back on a track. And I really like this. He's not going to leave early. That car not going to be competitive by any means. But either way, he's going to get out here. Try to finish this thing off. Unfortunately, though, he is going to be... Actually, it's showing the 92 on the lead lap. I didn't notice this, so I may have missed something. But let me tell you what. If the 92 is still on the lead lap, he's got a chance, and I'll tell you why. Not a chance in sticking with this draft or going for the win, but if these guys all pile up on the last lap, you get a couple guys totaled. We only have 9 cars on the lead lap. Just under half of those guys are going to be going home with some money. So if we got a big pile up at the front, the 92 might just be in prime position to sneak through and get a top 4. If you are just joining in, get ready. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout here in Tuesday Night Thunder for RMR Money Racing. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr., David Sheets in the first row, Eddie Hawks, now Michael Triscaro in the second row. Thought it'd be Mark Von Dell. Not sure what happened to Mark here. Maybe decided to pit because he has fallen to the back of this group, or maybe got an EOL. Not sure. John Ward trying to get up to speed, trying to catch this field before we go green. Not sure that he's going to be able to quite do it, though, as the field is working their way off of turn 4. Can Ken McCall Jr. hold off a charging Team PGR? He's going to have 2 teammates with him. Pace car pulls off. Will the 34 try to take the 06 3 wide? Green flag is back out. 2 to go at Daytona. Who's going to win it? Ken McCall Jr. gets the better restart. David Sheets with no help right now. Now the 06 is going to get some help from Michael Triscaro. You saw that bump. Wasn't as comfortable as it should have been for the 06. That's going to be because of that damage down the backstretch, though. This is really where we're going to see the momentum swing. Can that outside get it going to 34 is locked on. Looks like thinking about 3 wide, though. Danny Esterman has to check up. And this top lane not making as much progress as they would like to. But David Sheets going to get side by side with his teammate. Remember, if we make it to the white flag right here, no more cautions, checkers or wreckers. Out of turn 4, the 03 looking pretty dominant right now. The 45, though, Eddie Hawks falls off his bumper. White flag is in the air one more time around for Ken McCall Jr. Can he hold on to it? David Sheets gets another big push from the 34. We'll see if Michael Triscaro thinks about 3 wide at all. Further back, Brandon Broadfoot drops down low. Mark Von Dell trying to get something going. 34 trying to give a little push in the turn. Going to save it for the backstretch. Out of turn 2 for the final time. The 03 still out in charge. Will he have to think about blocking? Oh, the 55, Mike Davenport gives a bad shot. Now the 03 moves up to try to help his teammate. That puts him in the middle. Eddie Hawks now going to get the run on the bottom. Further back, the 34, Michael Triscaro gets clear, jumps down in the middle, now the bottom. They're wrecking out back, but out of turn 4, here we go. The 34 by himself. Eddie Hawks tries to get down low, can't. Up top, though, big run from the 03. Into the trial for the final time he side dressed. At the line, though, it's going to be Michael Triscaro winning it. What a race. What a finish. And I'll tell you what, the man in the 34 is going to be thrilled about that one. What a move he made on the last lap. He went to the middle and then to the bottom with no help. And that was a crazy sequence of events for the 34. Had to hold off a charging 03 at the line. And the margin of victory from what I'm showing was under a thousandth, or it was under a hundredth of a second. You talk about a close finish, it does not get much closer than that. Team PGR, this will be their first win as an organization. Brandon Broadfoot, his teammate, going to give him a big bump right there. Spins him right out through the grass. And those two are very excited. We'll see if Michael tries to burn it down here. Yep, he will. First career money racing win for Michael Triscaro. We're going to go get an interview from your top 3. So while we do that, we're going to watch the 30-40 burnouts. We'll be right back. All right, and I am here with your third place finisher, Eddie Hawks. Eddie, got a copy?
Got a copy.
Well, Ken McCall Jr. couldn't quite get it there at the line, but you guys certainly put in a good effort. Good teamwork overall tonight. But before we talk about your third place finish, what happened there during the stage break when you guys got together?
You know, I wanted to go out and try to block the lane, so it was either going to be him or I. And then we went back and looked at it, and I guess I got loose, and I didn't realize that I got loose, and then I come back into him. I don't know I just felt terrible, but that's what happened. It's all my fault.
It's all good because it doesn't seem like it mattered because you guys still came home second and third. So let's talk about now your third place finish. How'd you get it done?
Yeah, we were just riding by in our time, just waiting to go. I don't know what. I had a really good connection with Kenny all night. Like I could really push him when we needed to, and we're just waiting for the time to go, and it just seemed like it worked out for us.
All right. Well, before we let you go, is anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, thank you for your great broadcasting, and got to thank Ron for putting these on. He always puts on a good show. Hopefully, we get more people to come. It is Valentine's, so got to say Happy Valentine's Day to all the wives out there that's watching, and no, that's it. Thanks to Kenny and the team for letting me come work with them.
All right, that is your third place finisher tonight, Eddie Hawks. Congratulations.
Thank you, bud.
Now we'll move on to your second place finisher, Ken McCall Jr. Ken, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Well, man, you barely lost it by under a hundredth of a second. What more did you need there to win it at the line?
Some non-damaged cars because there was a bunch of them behind us.
That was for sure. You had to come back from a damaged car. You used your fast repair, played it smart though, and at the end you were up there with a chance to win. It looked like you were trying to maybe help David Sheets. So you guys kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what the mindset was there before that last caution?
Well, I had a feeling they were going to hang David out, and I told him I'd jump to the middle and pull him if it came down to it. Didn't want to see him get hung out and dropped to the back. We all worked really well together tonight. Like I say, it came down to which cars had damage and which ones didn't. It looks like the 2 clean cars finished 1-2. So, I don't know who else behind us had a clean car, but I know it wasn't many.
All right. Well, congrats on the second place finish. Is there you wanna thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank the teammates. They did an awesome job. We got a hell of a team over here put together. Got to thank you for doing the broadcast. Thank Ron for putting this thing on week in and week out. Thank everybody for tuning in and watching us.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your second place finisher, Ken McCall Jr. We will let them go. So we're going to hop over to the other Discord here to go get an interview from your winner tonight, Michael Triscaro. Just give me 1 second. All right, and I have found it. We are here with your winner, Michael Triscaro. Michael, you got a copy?
I got a copy, man.
Well, how about it? It's your first win here in money racing, and you got it in the RMR Tuesday Night Thunder Series. What a move you made there at the end. It looked like your push was just enough to get you to the lead. Then you dropped down a couple lanes. How'd you hold off the charging 03 at the line?
Man, I have no idea. I was thinking about going up there because I saw that, I saw him up there. I know he's a great driver. I decided to stick to my guns, hold the line, and let the best car win tonight. But that was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate Ron Morris hosting these things, man. That was a blast getting my first win.
All right. Is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight before we let you go enjoy your winnings?
Yeah, man. I'll thank you actually for helping me a lot. I'm still kind of newer to iRacing. Got my own series, Pacey Gray Racing, on Thursday nights, and you guys have been a big help to me. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys broadcasting the races. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your winner tonight, Michael Triscaro in the 34. And just before we finish up the broadcast tonight, a couple quick things here to go over. Going to start with your results for the race. You saw it. Michael Triscaro comes home a winner. Second is going to go to Ken McCall Jr. Third, Eddie Hawks. Fourth is going to be David Sheets. Fifth, Mike Davenport. Sixth, Brandon Broadfoot. Good comeback for the driver of the 24. Seventh, John Ward, and as damaged as that thing was, the top 10. Very impressive for the 92. Eighth, Mark Von Dell. Ninth, Danny Eshelman. 10th is going to be Curtis Rogers. 11th, Ambrose Kniebel. 12th, Sean Hill. And rounding out the field tonight in 13th is going to be Ron Morris Jr. Got a little bit more action on Ghost Racing Network coming up tomorrow. It's going to be Jimmy Crow's Dash for the Cash Series. You don't want to miss out. That is going to start up. You see it there. Stream should go live rather about 7:50, but the race will go green at 8:05. And we have seen 2 photo finishes. We'll see if we can make it 3 in a row. We'll find all that out tomorrow night. Thank you all for coming out. If you liked, please leave a thumbs up. And if you're new, give us a follow. We'll see you next time.